Hoi! I've got my embroidery ready. It's past halfway through the year, which can only mean one thing. It's time to do a stitch and bitch and talk about how I'm doing on my resolutions for 2019. I recently mentioned that I'm following a lot of illustrators and lino cut artists and embroidery artists on Instagram, and that I wanted to pick up Stitch and Bitch again, which is a video series I did ages ago where I mostly did knitting and sometimes some crocheting. But I feel like as long as there's some thread or yarn involved and you're talking, it's a Stitch and Bitch. So first of all, this is the work in progress. I started this ages ago during a previous video you might have watched. The quote that it has the first two letters of is beware, oh, can I still read this? So the quote is, beware for I am fearless and therefore powerful, which is a quote from Frankenstein, which I'm a massive fan of. It might be quite appropriate for this topic as well. I am definitely still a novice when it comes to embroidery, but let's see how much progress I can make during this video. I got one of those pens to write on fabric, which of course now I can't find, so best foot forward. I first of all wanted to share a quick 5 things that I've been doing to try and complete my goals or get started on my goals. And number 1 is just flippin' get started. It's very easy to have something on a list and make it this unattainable goal, and the best way to figure out what you need to learn or what you need to do or what might be missing from the situation, how you can get a good setup to get started, is to just start the project. So that's tip number 1. But I just feel like once you get started, no matter how good or bad it is, it just means, oh no, it's already stuck. It just means you don't have that empty page anymore, you don't have that fear anymore. So I feel like that is always a tip that has worked for me. I've immediately created a knot. See, just get started, it's fine. Tip number 2 is get inspiration. So again, this is kind of to do with, I won't be able to look at you guys while I talk, with the empty slate being terrifying. Now, I think there is a nice balance between following people that you admire and the other end, which is just getting super discouraged because everyone is super talented. So I would say find some people at different levels, maybe different parts of their career, different levels of whatever skill it is that you're interested in, because sometimes seeing someone get started at the same level as you are or a little bit above it is really motivating as well, because then you're like, okay, they can do it, they've just started, I've seen their progress, I can go for it. Because if you only see people who are at the height of their career, who are incredible, that isn't very attainable. And again, that kind of perfection can just put you off of getting started to begin with. My thread is so long. Oh, I thought I was doing an A, but I'm not. I'm doing a W. Oh. But yes, in general, I get motivation from seeing people do the thing that I want to do. Then, and this works for freelance stuff as well. I'm making a video where I talk about things that I've learned while going freelance, and this one will probably be in it because it is finding the right working conditions for yourself. So figuring out how you work best. And one of the things I figured out is that I have to literally not even bribe myself, trick myself, discipline myself into doing certain things, which for me involves numbering my to-do lists. If you make a really long to-do list, you can easily do all the stuff that you don't mind doing and then just leave all the big terrifying stuff. So I actually end up numbering my to-do list. So putting 1, 2, 3 next to different things. And then I force myself to do it in that order. Okay, oh wow, that is a terrible W, but it's because I didn't know what I was making. Okay, what are we doing next? And my final tip is to take it step by step and start with what you already know. So I've been learning a lot of new kind of digital programs like the Adobe Suite and stuff. And you don't need to know the whole thing to begin. Just do what you can and then just look things up step by step, because that is realistically the process of learning things. You can't do it all in one go. Breaking it down into little bits and then going, okay, what's the next thing I need to do to make this happen? And I'll talk a little bit about that when I get to the specific goals. I think for the stuff that I've accomplished so far this year, and it's terrifying to know that there's only 4 months left at the moment, I think I've mainly been focusing on all the ones that were kind of career related and creativity related. Well, maybe not creativity, I guess career mostly. I think that has just been a necessity of being freelance. And it's basically focusing on the things that will not immediately, but in the long run result in me making money. Like I'm currently making money from freelancing, but I mean like there's certain tasks involved that don't directly make you money. So I announced my podcast, which is coming soon. I guess it's like kind of a creativity related one. I relaunched the Cruelty-free and sustainable lifestyle YouTube channel and Instagram that I have with my friend Marion, and we rebranded it to Take Your Time. That was actually quite a big project to take on, but it's been really satisfying, so that's been great. I made a freelance portfolio. I made a media kit for my YouTube channel, which I should have done like, I don't know, 5 years ago. But I had never like sat down and taken the time to do it. And since I don't have a manager or anything, it was high time and I did it. This is atrocious, but I literally cannot be bothered to do this again because otherwise I will have made no progress in this video. I gotta listen to my own advice and just practice. Not everything has to be perfect. I just gotta finish it. Let's get to the actual resolutions. It's very hard balancing this and my notes and like making sure my camera's recording. If you're new to my channel, I do a resolutions video every year because I freaking love to-do lists. I love motivating myself by like creating lists and creating goals. So I find them really fun. I always want to stress that it's because I want to do it. I'm not pressuring myself, but I usually do 10 resolutions and I did it again this year. So let's have a look. Number one was an ambitious one. Read 100 books. I already updated you on this in my favorite books of the year so far video, but in case you missed that, I am on 32 books currently actually. I finished 2 books very recently. I should be over halfway done. Oh no, I've done this again. I should be over halfway done and I'm currently a third done, but I think that's usually kind of the level I'm at when I do the 50 book challenge. So I don't feel disheartened. I'm all right with that, basically. Number 2 was to do a digital clear out and, oh, I should have gotten the book. Hold on. I guess get a bit more clarity in who I follow online and like not getting too distracted by social media. Part of it was also like backing up pictures and things, which I've been slowly doing, but could be a lot better. But I read this book, How to Break Up with Your Phone, which I can't remember if I've mentioned it before. I recently finished it. It's half the theory behind why phones and apps are so addictive, and the other half is like a 30-day plan on not how to ditch your phone forever, but how to like reshape your relationship with your phone. And I've done some of the particular like tricks and advice that she mentions. So feeling better about that. Things like deleting the YouTube app off my phone so I don't just lay in bed and watch videos until 2 a.m. And yeah, I've unfollowed a lot of people. I've muted a lot of people. Also, I've muted like loads of people on Instagram stories because stories is where I tend to spend like most of my time. So I figured I would only watch the stories of people that I like really enjoy. Oh, number 3 is a biggie. It's develop a drawing style or get more familiar with my drawing and practice that. I've been doing some hand lettering on my iPad, especially for like my YouTube thumbnails and stuff, but I think I still have quite a long way to go with this one. Then number 4 is work with a charity. I think when I wrote that one down, I didn't really know what kind of charity I wanted to work with. Recently I got to do a shoot with Shelter. They're a charity that work with like homelessness and housing, and they have charity shops, in case you're not familiar with them. And they also have a boutique shop in King's Cross, and Marion and I got to do a photo shoot with them, kind of promoting buying secondhand and supporting the charity, and that was really fun. And I'd love to work with more like charity shops and charities that deal with environmental issues as well. This is really funny. It's not it. Let's try and do Fearless. Next one was that I wanted to post all my travel videos, and I've done quite a few this year actually. I'm that person who basically films almost every holiday they go on, and then I just put that footage in a vault and it never comes out because it's a very different editing process than like a sit down vlog like this. And I usually tend to get like stuck halfway through, or I didn't film enough, whatever reason I make up for not posting it. So this year I posted a video of my trip to Toronto. My trip to Berlin a visit to the Lush factory from centuries ago. I did a Dutch food diary as well, which was really fun. And I'm currently editing a Scotland video, so not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Then I said I wanted to launch a newsletter. If you follow me on Insta stories, you might have seen some of the sketches. I was doing like digital sketches of what I wanted to look like. So I would say that that's in progress. Oh, yes. Next one was I wanted to go to Copenhagen by myself. I wanted to go on a little solo holiday. And it's quite funny when you write stuff like that down in the beginning of the year and then the year just kind of takes it course and it just doesn't really fit into the plans. So I actually went on a press trip to Latvia by myself, which felt a little bit like this holiday. I think this is probably one that I might just like postpone until next year because I want to go when it's light for as long as possible, especially if I'm traveling by myself. So might have missed my moment a little bit. 3 more left. I wanted to become 90% vegan. I think I'm actually doing pretty well. In the last few years, I've done a few like full vegan months and I've always enjoyed doing them and they were always like, you know, they're a challenge, but I've enjoyed kind of having to come up with new things. I've made a lot of changes and I think for me at the moment, the fact that like occasionally I can have some milk chocolate or I can have a little bit of cheese is really working for me. And I definitely think there are more things I can incorporate and more changes I can make. And that's something I'll be working on, but I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. And there's one that I brought back from last year, which is that I wanted to go on drawing trips to museums by myself. And I haven't really done that this year. I made a whole video about some of my favorite museums and museum visits recently. I've been to some museum trips by myself, but haven't done any drawing there. And I feel like it kind of, when you're doing it by yourself, it requires a bit of courage. So I might need to get a friend involved. And the last one is that I wanted to clear out some of my cookbooks because I feel like I have some where realistically I'm going to make 2 or 3 recipes from it. So I should just do that and then like either copy the recipes and like pass them on to someone else or like donate them or something. What have I done so far? Not loads, to be honest. I made something from the green roasting tin, which I really enjoyed, like this gnocchi dish that was amazing. And I made cookies from the Happy Pear recently. I didn't love the cookies, but I do really like that cookbook. And also I went through all of them and I put stickers, like adorable owl stickers on all the pages that I thought, okay, maybe this is something I'll make. And the cooking is also part of an effort to create less waste and just buy less and save some money and all of that. So instead of like buying snacks when I'm out, like making my own banana bread and bringing it along, that kind of thing. So that is how I'm doing on my resolutions. I feel like every time I do this check-in, it's like a 50-50, which is fine because I have time left. I feel like I wrote fear and I forgot that I needed to write fearless. I would love to hear if you have any resolutions or any things that you're working on, skills that you're trying to develop, etc. And if you have any tips for me, I would of course love to hear them as well. I hope you enjoyed my update and this terrible embroidery. This is where I've come. This is the thread I have to fix. Beware. Fear is what it says so far. I'm gonna try and make some more progress tonight actually. I have a few episodes of The Handmaid's Tale to catch up on. I'm away for a few weeks in September. I'm going to the Netherlands, partly to visit my family, partly for a press trip, which you'll hear more about, all to do with Dutch literature. And I also just booked a trip to go to Cornwall on the sleeper train, which I've been wanting to do for ages. So if you want to see more of that, make sure to follow me on Instagram because I'll be like posting Instagram stories and stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next Stitch and Bitch. Doei.